welcome to Sestra-Tainment.
Sestra-Tainment.
I'm Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we're coming to you today in regards to everything entertainment.
Everything, yeah.
Regarding some binge worthy shows.
Yeah, that's what we're getting into this week.
Yeah, this week is going to be a binge worthy theme. And so I'm going to go ahead and start first.
Yeah,
and I'm going to start with a show that just recently came back on air in a different form or version, I guess you could say, but Game of Thrones.
Oh, yes.
Game of Thrones on HBO. It's
the King in the North.
I know. It's so many sayings, and I was going to get into that a little bit, too, because it's just so much. But HBO has Game of Thrones. It's 8 seasons of the original Game of Thrones. And then just last weekend, it kind of crashed HBO's site, but the new version of Game of Thrones that's a prequel to what we saw on Game of Thrones. It just started last Sunday, and so that was insane. Because
and we were trying to click on it. It was just like it wasn't working. I was like, watch they crash HBO's thing.
Crashed the site. So
and you were just like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah, show it. And I was like, it would get right to the beginning, and then it would cut off.
It'd be like,
the HBO sound, and then all of a sudden,
and then it'd be like black,
back to zero, back to the beginning.
Back
to
your homepage.
Your homepage
back to your homepage
of Fire Stick. It wouldn't even stay within HBO.
Yeah.
And so, so I want to talk about Game of Thrones. It is what some people call one of the best shows that's ever been on television. It started off slow for me, I have to admit. I didn't get into it in the first few episodes. It was good, don't get me wrong. Like it had some moments.
I mean, you were the one who got me to watch the show.
Yeah, but I mean, it took me a while to get into it to talk about it with people.
I think the only thing that made me get into it was when you showed me like the White Walkers, and I was like, what the heck is this?
Exactly. And that's kind of how, funny enough, the show actually starts, which I went back and looked at the very beginning because I couldn't remember how the show started.
I don't know.
And it does. It starts with these men from the wall, because they always talk about this wall that's protecting the realm, so to speak. And so it's just to give some context also, it is set in medieval times. So it's knights and kings and, sword fights and battles and tournaments and things of that nature kind of lifestyle. So there's words that they use that are just so like, old timey, you're in medieval times eating your turkey leg kind of experience.
You're drinking out of it's like a tusk or something, isn't it? Like
they'll do.
They're drinking out of. I think their pictures are of horns from cows.
I feel like it's more of the big silver. I don't know what those things are called, where like you would go to Busch Gardens or
chalice
something, and they have those big
Das Boot.
Yeah, exactly. So something from Oktoberfest or whatever. But anyway, so basically the series starts off with these guys who were from the wall, and they actually are walking around and there's snow everywhere, and they start stumbling upon dead people and body parts and put into a weird formation. And so this one guy is like, hey, there's some dead people around this corner. Y'all should go check it out. And everybody's like, all right, we'll go. But, it's not that serious. We're not believing you. So they get there. All the bodies are gone. Well, little did they know that it's because the White Walkers, the whole show is very mystical. Let's just say
absolutely.
It's mystical.
They're dragons and...
Yeah, exactly. And dead people who walk around.
Yeah, and there's
quite
potions
like zombies,
and
but
stuff.
Yeah, it's stuff. Yeah.
It's a lot.
You have witches. You have a little bit of everything. So it doesn't sound as interesting when you say it like that. But it pulls it together very well. So anyway, they go, all the bodies are gone, and they're like, I guess your people got up and left. And next thing you know, like there was this one little girl, because they were killing everybody. And the little girl just like showed up, and she's alive again, but she has bright, like ocean blue eyes, like the brightest, clearest,
looks like the sky.
Blue eyes you've ever seen. And so you also see him looking at somebody, and it is like a skeleton looking, like a dark skeleton, but with those same blue eyes. So that's your first experience of the White Walkers, and you're just like, what in the
what
world
is this? Yeah.
What is happening? These are medieval times.
And then it switches to something else. Totally
different. Just switches to the Stark family. And you have, all these Starks. So you have Ned, who goes by I guess it's Eddard that goes by Ned.
Yeah.
And you have Kat, who is his wife, and then you have their kids. And so they always talk about how winter is coming. Like that's their phrase, their catchline is winter is coming, winter is coming. And so the thing is that back previously, and funny enough, if you watch the new series that happened on Sunday, they even talk about how these White Walkers have been dead or not seen or unknown for thousands of years, but that they will be coming back, and winter is coming.
Yeah, it was a whole breakdown.
Right, exactly. And so basically that's what Ned always says is winter is coming. You know, we got to be ready because winter is coming. And everybody knows this mythical situation that has been discussed about these creatures that will come and try to take over the earth from the people because all the dead will just
become zombies.
Overpopulate. Right. So when you die, you become a zombie. So therefore they keep building and they keep growing their army. And so Ed's family, he has Rickon, he has Brandon, he has Arya, Sansa, and Robb. And then he has a bastard son, Jon. And he can't be called a Stark. So he has to be called a Snow.
Because that's where he's from. He's from around the snow.
He's from the north.
Yeah. So then it's like somebody else has a child that's a bastard, and it's like their last name is Sand.
Right.
So it's like depending on where you were born at, it's like, oh yeah, your last name is wherever, whatever's around on the ground.
And so you move around to different parts, and this is all like first episode, maybe first and second. I would say within the first and second episode, you get a good understanding of things that are going on. So you'll move around from Westeros.
I mean, it's a lot. It's the setup, and the setup is long.
Yeah, the setup is long because they have 100 and probably 300 characters by the time you get to the end of this whole series. So it's a lot to keep in mind. But you have King's Landing, which is where all of the Lannisters are, and their basic theme is the Lannisters always pay their debts.
Yeah,
like that's what they always say.
And they are very special people.
They are interesting people. I'm going to get into a little bit more in regards to them, but there's three. So you have Jaime, you have Tyrion, and you have Cersei.
Yeah.
So you have all of these different Lannisters, and so what happens throughout the first episode is that Cersei is married to Baratheon. So he's the king, King Baratheon. And so he and Ned Stark are friends. Actually, Baratheon was in love with Ned's sister. The sister ended up dying.
Yeah.
And
why do I know her name?
I have no idea how you know her name. But when she died, Ned went ahead and had her buried in like these catacombs or crypts at their location. So when he got there, first thing he wanted to do, I want to go see her. You know, I want to go see where she's laid to rest. So of course his wife is like, oh, great, you know.
The one that got away.
Right, exactly. So still in love with him.
I'm second best.
So then, you know, they're all arriving. He's going to check that out. You got Joffrey. He's looking at Sansa. She's looking at him. And you're thinking, oh, this might be a little love connection. Joffrey is a horrific, horrible, lying.
He needs Jesus in a padded room. I swear, that boy
is the worst young person you can ever imagine. And his mom just entertains it. Yeah. It's the best way to say it. Yeah. And she's not great either. So
no, she's a horrible person. Yeah.
So anyway, and so you have Brandon, and he's like a climber. He just climbs up buildings. He climbs. His mom is like, stop climbing. You promised me that you were going to stop climbing and going to all these different places and doing all these different things because it's scary. So he never falls. He never, you know, he's great at what he does. Well, one day he decides to climb up this tower while the Lannisters and Baratheons are visiting the Starks in Westeros. And lo and behold, he looks in a window and he sees Jaime and his sister Cersei having sex.
Knocking boots.
They are twins, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
So, it's nasty.
Yeah, so the two Lannister siblings, man and woman, twins, having sex. So of course, once they see him, they're like, oh my God, this is going to get out, you know, whatever. Now you put together also that, you know what? Baratheons always have dark hair. Joffrey has blonde hair.
All of their kids have blonde hair. The daughters, the daughter
hair,
and the
just like
two sons.
all the Lannisters.
It was two sons, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So Thomas and I can't remember all the kids.
I can't remember the daughter's name. Like she was there, but she really wasn't.
And then
there.
they sent her off.
Yeah,
they sent her off. So yeah. So basically, So you're just like, ooh, wow, huh? What's going on? What's happening? So Jamie sees him standing there. He grabs him, and he was like, "The things I do for love," and he literally pushes Bran out the window.
Yeah.
And the next episode, you just see that Bran is basically like paralyzed from the fall. And so that's kind of how everything starts.
Yeah, that's the little flake, the snowflake that made the big boulder. That's
exactly. So it's now who did it. The Starks are trying to figure out. The mother finds a long strand of blonde hair where it happened. So she's putting together that the Lannisters are behind it. So now she's hating them. They didn't, the female Lannister, Cersei and her brother, they didn't really care much about, the Starks anyway. So they're always having snide remarks and things.
And Bran is like in a coma type state.
Yeah, he was in a coma state. The mom was with him 24/7. Then she finally was like, oh my God, I'm going to go to where it happened. Oh my gosh, I found this blonde hair. I have to go and tell my husband because he left with all of them to go back to be the hand, quote unquote, of the king. Yeah, Baratheon. And so therefore, Baratheon. And so I need to be able to, let him know the danger that he might be in because, oh, by the way, guess what happened? The last hand of the king got killed. And some of the kings even get killed. Yeah. You had a Mad King who also got killed that they talked through with Jamie.
But I mean, I feel like that's just the whole thing when it comes to medieval times. It's just
it's just a little bit of anything could go on. So the whole premise of Game of Thrones, when you think about it, is that everybody is interested in being on the Iron Throne.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, the Iron Throne, and they want to rule over all
the seven kingdoms.
Yeah,
so it's
all
seven,
of the seven
kingdoms, and they want to rule over them. So you have Baratheon on the throne now. You have had Targaryens on the throne before, and that's what this new show is about. The Targaryens, they actually are people who can walk through fire, and they actually have dragons.
Yeah, that they
can
ride on,
the dragons and everything. So that's a whole mystical thing as well. You have the Lannisters, you have the Starks. They ended up having 6 dire wolves, and of the 6 dire wolves, they gave 5 of them to Ned's children, and he was real mean about it too. He's like, "You're gonna clean it, you're gonna feed it, and when it dies, you're gonna bury it." Yeah. Like he was just like, "I don't care anything about these."
Yeah, these are yours.
Yeah, exactly. And later on, something happens where he actually has to kill one of the dire wolves, and that was very sad.
So no, I was mad about that whole situation.
That whole situation, and it's in by the second episode.
Yeah, but I mean, the only reason I was mad about the whole situation is because he knew how much his kids
loved those
wolves.
Yeah. Well, and then the thing is the situation that ticked me off was the Joffrey part of it all.
Yeah.
And a kid died, a dog died, everything because he didn't tell the truth.
Yeah, because
and the sister didn't tell the truth
because they're horrible human beings.
So then I'm like, and Arya, she is probably one of the big heroes of the whole show.
Arya she's the boss.
From the beginning, she is like a teeny kid when this whole thing starts, and it was on for 8 seasons. And she was always about truth, always about justice, trying to learn, trying to.
She wanted to be her father.
The girl.
Yeah, she wanted to be like her father.
Yes, she was doing bow and arrows better than her brother. She was using her sword, and she got the needle made for her, which was her own personal sword.
That's what what's his name? Jon Snow
got it for
her half brother.
Use the pointy end, kind of thing. So then the father, realizing she wanted to use it, was like, "Look, don't stab your sister. You're already pissed at her because of the fact that she lied in front of a bunch of people when you were in trouble about something. So let's go ahead and make sure that you learn how to use it properly." So he gets her connected with I don't know what you want to call it, tutor to teach her how to do the sword fighting and stuff. So it's a lot. It probably sounds for somebody who has no idea and no care
we just talked
Game
about
of Thrones.
The first 2 episodes.
That's the first 2 episodes. It was 8 seasons.
I know.
There's fire-breathing dragons.
Yeah,
and I didn't even talk about Tyrion and his whole role and what's going on. Now, I will say, because Tyrion, especially in the beginning, he's a trip. He's usually drunk and he's usually having sex.
Yeah, so he's drunk and always in a whorehouse.
Yes. So if you're not someone who would be interested in seeing a whorehouse, a lot of sex, a lot of breasts, a lot of, then this might not be the show for you.
Absolutely
because
not,
a lot of it is just very sexual in the beginning, not as much at the end.
Yeah, I feel like towards the end they were just kind of like, all right, how we gotta wrap up some of these storylines,
right? Exactly, and the sex part, the theatrics of that isn't as critical as some other storylines that we need to share. A lot of death, a lot of blood, a lot of gore. So if that's not for you, this probably isn't your kind of show. But you do have Jason Momoa as Khal Drogo. And Drogo, oh my gosh. So anyway, so he's there with, this is all again, first couple episodes, but he's there with a Targaryen who is basically like trying to bring two families together. So the Targaryens all had previously had the throne, so they're trying to get it back.
They lost a lot of their stuff, right?
They lost a lot. They don't have their dragons anymore. It's like all these things that happened
running
to
out
them
of money,
over the
all
years.
this stuff,
And then you have that her brother basically sold her.
He pimped her out.
Yep, pimped her out to Drago, and he's head of the Dothrakis.
Yeah.
And so they have their own language and the whole 9 yards. And so he looks, number one, amazing, but he's a barbarian. Like, he's brutal.
Oh yeah,
he's like, so
they're like nomads, I guess.
And she's following, his lead because of the fact that this is her husband and she was sold to him. But over time, she does end up becoming in love with him, and all of these things kind of transpire from that. And it's so much that goes into her discovering herself from being in this environment, and her becoming a boss. And her becoming Khaleesi, which is the mother of dragons.
Yeah, her having the biggest army.
Yes.
The biggest army. Mm-hmm. Like, she had, what was it, like four different groups? It was, three.
It was a lot.
I think it was 3 different groups of people.
By the end, you're saying, but not in the beginning. It was
no. That's what I'm saying. She ended up having 3 different groups of people that followed her.
Yeah. It was amazing, because she had them, she had the worm, and his whole group of people, and I can't think of who else, but so she was a very, very powerful woman towards the end of the series. So anyway, I've talked 17 minutes about Game of Thrones.
Because it's a lot to talk about.
So much, and there's a rabbit hole that can take you down of YouTube videos and family trees and lineage and lines and whose mama is that.
Yeah, because we did that.
We did that. We did all of that.
I was like, wait, who is this? And we were like literally looking at whoever decided to do this was the smartest person ever.
Tolkien.
Whoever decided to go ahead, I'm saying whoever decided to go ahead and make a family tree of each kingdom,
to put it out there to show,
and it's just online, so you can be like, wait, what?
Because there's so many characters they introduce that you can't keep up with it all. And some of the names, like, I'm Viserys, fourth of my name, and they might be talking about a previous Viserys, or there's Robb Stark, but there's also Robert Baratheon.
Yes,
so you're just like, some of the names back and forth, the same, and it's just a lot going on. And then just like how in some people's real lives back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, somebody had a kid, somebody else took them over and acted like it was theirs, and you find out about those kind of things. So it's so many,
it's layers
and moving parts. And so I'm thinking of slowly watching it again to see what I can pick up on, because there was so much that even me looking at this first episode, I was like, wait a minute, they came back to this later.
But you don't pay attention to that unless you go back. Yeah, exactly. Unless you go back and watch it, you'll never understand. No idea
what you were looking at. But anyway, all right. So that's it. Game of Thrones, HBO. It's 8 seasons. It will keep you entertained. Don't let everybody's brouhaha about the end of the show deter you from even watching the show.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, look, it was fine. It was fine. I mean, it wasn't ideal to what I would have personally put as the ending of it, but you know what? For the ride that you get to get there,
it's worth it. It's worth it. Definitely.
All right. So, sis, what you got?
All right. So for my first one, I want to talk about the Golden Girls.
Love the Golden Girls.
The Golden Girls. Okay, so you watch the Golden Girls when you're young and you're not really paying attention, right? So you just see these old ladies on TV. It's funny. Yeah. You watch it when you're adult and you're just like, I cannot stop watching this show.
It was definitely something that, you had to be of a certain age to get it.
Yeah, to understand it. Yeah.
You could like it and have it on in the background or something.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I feel like back in like 1989, women were not promiscuous on TV.
Probably.
But Blanche was. Blanche was trying to sleep with every man.
The funny thing is that it was the undertone of Blanche being promiscuous, but you never really saw her kissing on a whole bunch of men. You never saw men in her bed.
It was just her talking about it.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's too funny.
Like there's an episode where she's like going on a date with a guy, and then she was like, and I go into the bathroom and freshen up, and when I come back out, and I just have his robe on and no clothes, and I drop the robe ever so softly on the ground, he says, "Put your clothes on, I'm leaving." And she was so hurt about that. She said, "What kind of man would tell a woman to put your clothes on? I'm taking you home." It's like, yeah, wow, you're out there.
Yeah, Blanche Devereaux.
So, it is 7 seasons.
I don't know why it feels like so much more.
Yeah, it's 177 episodes. And they're just half-hour episodes. Yeah.
So. But they also didn't do like 10 episodes a season. They were
it was
probably 20, 25.
Oh, yeah, for it to be 7 seasons and 177 episodes. Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. But if you want to watch it, you can watch it on Hulu. They have it streaming, like, everything. And then apparently there was another one called Golden Palace. Not as good because B. Arthur was not in it, but that still does have Betty White, Rue McClanahan, and Estelle
I don't
Getty
even remember that one.
Yeah, it was one season.
Oh, okay.
One season. And I don't even think it was a lot of episodes.
But I guess it must have been something that was missing with the magic, because I don't know if B. Arthur alone would be enough to make you not watch it with her missing. Was it different, right? I wonder if it was different writers, different...
Yeah, it probably,
and maybe it's just the setting, the writers,
because it just changed up, because then on Golden Palace, they bought a hotel in Miami. Why would 3 old ladies buy a hotel in Miami? I haven't watched the episode yet. I want to
all moved into a retirement community, and then you could have invited all these new people,
and it would have been hilarious. Yeah, somebody make that show. Somebody make a show.
That would have been, because that's what it sounded like. The Golden Palace. It sounds like a retirement.
That's what
community.
I'm thinking. No, it wasn't. Mm-hmm. So you have B. Arthur playing Dorothy. Dorothy is Bornak. Mm-hmm. I had to practice Bornak. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You have Betty White playing Rose. You have Rue McClanahan being Blanche, and Estelle Getty being Sophia. So now Dorothy and Sophia are mother and daughter.
Yep.
So Sophia is Dorothy's mother. Dorothy, little teeny tiny, maybe 4'1". Sophia 4'1". Yep. Dorothy 6'1".
No, it's like, how in the world?
Yeah, how did this even happen?
Tall? How tall was your husband?
Yeah, exactly. But you have Rose from St. Olaf, which she talks about St. Olaf all the time, but she's from St. Olaf, Minnesota. And then you have Blanche Devereaux from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, she's Georgia Peach.
She's Georgia Peach. But Sophia, which is like the funniest. She's from Sicily, so you always hear this. Picture it.
Sicily.
Picture it. Sicily, 1922, and then she just goes into some kind of story. It's great. But the thing is, the whole thing about the story is just the 4 women who are divorced, or they're widowed, or they're retired, and now they're all roommates together, and they are all total opposites.
Yep.
I don't even think Rose and Dorothy don't even talk about sex. Blanche talks about sex for enough for everyone. Yeah. Sophia is she talks about it, but she's like, yeah, I remember when I did that 75 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. Rose is the ditzy one. She is not all there. Bulb's a little dim, It's okay. But it does actually help out with the whole comedic, aspect of the show.
Yeah.
And then Dorothy is... I don't know. She's kind of like the mother of all of them, even her mother's mother.
Yeah,
I feel like that's what
she has to be. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Sophia is always into something. Like the cops are bringing her home. FBI is at the house trying to figure out some stuff. And then she's just like you'll just see her and she grabs her little purse. It'll be a knock on the door. She'll be like, yes, we're looking for Sophia. And then you see her get up and grab her purse and slowly shuffle into her bedroom or something. It's so funny. She's kind of trying to hide out. But it's a cute, great show.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, Sophia wasn't the oldest one on the cast.
She was the youngest.
It's so funny that
she was
played
the youngest.
mom.
Yeah, she played the oldest, but she was the youngest one. Yeah, absolutely. But that was just one of the things I want to talk about. That definitely watch the Golden Girls. I mean, even if it's just that, if you put it on as that show you have on the back of just on your TV while you're doing stuff, within, I would say by the second episode, you're going to be sitting down on the couch.
You
None
have
of
to
your
watch
chores
it.
are getting
Yeah,
done.
Exactly.
None of your chores are getting
And
done.
I'm the kind of person that if the Golden Girls comes on and I see the beginning, it's like a Law and Order episode. I gotta watch it all the way through to see what the shenanigans. How is it gonna end? Like,
or else it'd be like, oh wow, I remember this one, and then you have to watch it because you remember how funny it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so good. So check out the Golden Girls. You watch it on Hulu. Like I said, 7 seasons, 177 episodes, half-hour episodes. So check it out if you have not, or just revisit it if you already have.
Right. Okay. Sounds good.
All right. What's your next one?
My next one is, it's going to be probably one that a lot of people may not have even heard of, but it's Leverage.
Okay.
Leverage is a show, I don't even know how I stumbled upon it. I don't even think I have personally watched all of the videos. Funny enough, it's not on anymore.
Okay.
But it was on like a TNT.
Okay.
And then now they have come out with a new show called Leverage Redemption.
Okay.
And that, I guess, backed by popular demand, basically a lot of the same players. And that one is on Freevee, which used to be on Amazon, which used to be IMDb.
Yeah.
So they brought it back the first season on IMDb, and now they've changed IMDb to Freevee, and so now it's on Freevee. Okay. But it was 5 seasons, definitely binge worthy, 77 episodes, so it definitely had a lot going on. And so the plot of this show is basically about a group of people, I'll call them that, and then we'll get into who they are.
All right.
But they are trying to create leverage. So you might have the little person who is getting screwed over by some big insurance company, some big conglomerate, some person who's putting toxins in the water, but they're trying to act like they're not and trying to cover up the paperwork, or an art dealer who is trying to
make fakes or something.
Yeah,
like that.
make fakes and get away with trying to sell those and things. So you have a former insurance investigator who basically has recovered millions of dollars worth of stolen property, deciding to work with different people to help them to gain leverage. So people would just find out about them and say, hey, I've heard about you to, this group of people, and I really need you to help me because they're trying to make my father's name the fall guy for X, Y, and Z, and he's now passed away. So I, as his child, am going to need to get this leverage on this corporation or this group or whatever the case may be. So they really are doing bad things when you think about it, but for a good reason. That's the best way to kind of, like a Robin Hood situation. So the cast has Timothy Hutton, which a lot of people know, and he plays Nate Ford, and he's like the mastermind. So as soon as somebody comes with a task that needs to be done, he's the one who's like, okay, let me look at all the layers, and he's always like 5 steps ahead of whoever these bad guys are. So even when it looks like, ooh, they're caught, ooh, this isn't going to work out, something's happening that's making them actually, he's already thought through that and been like, well, if this A, B, C, and D scenario, these are how we're going to get out of these scenarios. So that's basically him. And he was the insurance adjuster, so he's used to trying to recover things. You have Gina Bellman. She plays Sophie Devereaux, another Devereaux. Yeah, and she's the grifter. So they all have their names. So the mastermind, the grifter. Okay. And she is a British grifter who has a taste for art theft. So when it comes to anything that has to do with arts and artifacts and things like that, she's the person. She can speak the language and talk the talk. Or she's in these meetings with these, people who know the art world and things of that nature. She's multilingual also, so even if it's something that's not involving art, she can step in and speak Portuguese or speak Spanish or speak whatever. So she's like multilingual. And so she plays a lot of different roles and is sometimes trying to become the love interest of the target, so to speak. You have Aldous Hodge, who plays Alec Hardison, and all they call him is Hardison on the show. I very rarely have heard him say Alec. So basically, he's the hacker. So he's the IT person that,
so he goes in and
so Nate, you need an ID badge that's going to get you into this corporation. So
it sounds like,
to be an executive.
Like the Oceans, like Oceans
sort of
11,
kinda,
12.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but
that's kind of cool though.
It's one of those things, and I don't know which happened first because I think this was 2008, maybe, that this came out.
Well,
so
I mean, the original Oceans was like back in the 70s
back
or something.
Then. You're right. So maybe that's kind of what it is. But basically, so Hardison, he's the hacker. He, is all into, technology, like a nerd, just
Yeah.
delving into everything with that. And it's like anything. Oh, you need an account in 5 minutes that says that you are a multi-billionaire, so that when you're sitting inside this auction house, you can buy a $5 million painting. I got you covered.
Yeah,
I'll take care of all of that behind the scenes. So that's Artisan. And then you have Christian Kane as Elliot Spencer. So he's the hitter. So whenever you need somebody who's going to fight,
Oh, okay.
he's
So
like
he's like
MMA.
security.
So he's your your bodyguard or whatever. So he will just go into situations and just bust heads and just, yeah, exactly. And it's just like, ooh. So he was a black ops soldier, and so he's a part of this team. And whenever something goes awry, and they're like, ooh, somebody's got to get out of this situation, you go and you take care of this, Elliot, so that way we can go ahead and get our person out of trouble. And Beth Rescraft is Parker, and she's the thief. So she actually is that person who's climbing through air ducts and dropping down into a place
like
to
the
get
Mission
a crown.
Impossible type
right.
thing. Okay.
Or she's the one who, when they show all those lines, like the red lines
Catherine
and stuff,
Zeta-Jones.
she's like, she's
like,
jumping
going through
and
them,
doing cartwheels and all that to kind of get through all the security lines to make sure that she can do what she needs to do. So she's also a pickpocketer. So if you need a pickpocketer, she's your girl. She can crack safes. She can do kind of all that thievery.
So she's just a big
type of
time
thing.
thief.
Yeah. And so that's pretty much the cast.
So how did they all
players.
get together?
So I am trying to remember from the beginning how they all like interacted. And
I guess it was probably just like one job.
I know that Nate and Sophia had dated previously.
Okay.
So I do remember that because he was trying to catch all investment kind of fraud things and stuff like that. And she was involved with art things that were happening and stuff like that. So I think that's how they started dating. And then I think sometimes when you're just in a certain world, you just pass
probably
cross.
just you just bump into them. Just be
Things
like, hey,
happen.
you know what? I'll if I need you, I'll let you know.
Yeah, if I need you, I'll let you know. And I think that they all, knowing that they have done bad things in their past, of stealing art or cracking a safe or being a hacker or just beating people up for no apparent reason.
They're trying to
they're trying to redeem themselves, and they're trying to.
So that's what redemption.
The redemption
is
part comes in for the second half of it for the show. But they're basically like, look, I want to turn a new cheek and try to be a nicer person and do things for the little guy who can't do it for themselves. And so typically every episode starts with a case, and then they figure out their scenarios, and then they get to the end of that case. And it's been really fun to watch because although it sounds like a drama, it's kind of a comedy and drama mixed in together where you'll just see things happen and like
a
Parker's
dramedy.
supposed to be quiet, but here she is sneezing because there's a cat. You're waiting on pins and needles to see if he's going to hack in and get whatever he needs so that, because Nate is stalling to wait until, they're talking to each other in their little ear things. And, so it's a really fun show to watch for me personally. I've really enjoyed it. And so the Redemption one, Artisan, he's not on there as much because of the fact that he is on a whole new TV show now. So he's on City in the Hill with Kevin Bacon. So therefore he hasn't been on this show as much. So they brought in someone who's his sister, who is also a hacker.
Of course, yeah.
And so that's kind of where that's gone. And then Timothy Hutton didn't come back either. So because of the fact that he's not on the show, they actually brought on who was that? I'm trying to think of the guy from The Librarians, the actor, Noah Weil. He was on the ERs or something like that. He used to play a doctor. And so they have him on there kind of helping out with that Nate character of being that mastermind. And so anyway, so it's a really fun show to watch. I've really been enjoying it. And so I watched the full season of the first Redemption Bring Back, I guess, show. And then the second season is underway now. And I haven't kind of gotten into it just yet because I'm watching so many other things, but I'm ready.
All right, that's cool.
There you go. All right, so that's my number 2. What you got?
Leverage. All right.
Yeah.
I think, I'm like stuck on which one I want to talk about. All right, I'll go ahead and do this one. Ozark. Ozark is very binge worthy.
It is binge worthy.
Very bingeable. It's 4 seasons, 44 episodes, like about an hour long episodes. You can binge watch it. It is good because how it starts off is not how the rest of the show goes. Mm-hmm. So like it's like so just I'll give you like a little background information. So it's a financial advisor, like a financial planner, and he's from Chicago, and he kind of like works with let's get this way. He had to move to the Ozarks. Was it the Lake of the Ozarks or something like that? He had to move there in Missouri because his business partner got into like laundering money.
Yeah.
For like some drug
to be, like,
lords,
forensic accountants or something like that, like looking at money and just
So
and
he's supposed to be laundering this money for the drug lord, but his business partner starts taking the money,
skimming from the top, as they say.
And when he found this out, he came and was like ready to kill
the drug lord.
The drug lord was, So the drug lord actually does kill everyone except for the financial advisor, who is played by Jason Bateman. So the thing that's so crazy is like he just happens to not kill him because he has this paperwork in his pocket about the Ozarks. He's trying to call his family. He's like, I know you're gonna kill me, but just like let me tell my kids, like, I love them. I'm so sorry. Like I'm not gonna be there for them. Blah blah blah. And then he just sees this little brochure, and then that's when he starts to use his gift of gab to go ahead and like tell the guy, I could do $500 million in 5 years. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And in the Ozarks, where there's nothing there.
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah.
You want to do $500 million in 5 years.
But in a way, it's kind of brilliant because there's nobody there. So the police, the FBI, whoever won't really think of that being a place where you're growing drugs or trying to distribute drugs. So, I mean, it makes sense, but how are you going to get it out? What are you going to do? Yeah.
Yeah. But like, so the cast is Jason Bateman. He plays Marty. His wife is Laura Linney, who's played by named Wendy. You have Sophia Hublitz, which is Charlotte, their daughter, and Skylar, I guess it's Gaitner.
Yeah, I think so.
Gaitner. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's Jonah. He's the son. And then you have this young woman, Julia Garner, who plays Ruth.
It's amazing.
She is a great actress. Yeah, she's going to go far when it comes to being an entertainer and an actress.
The young Meryl Streep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
Because you're Pa.
Yeah.
Sorry, I took it to a whole other show. My apologies.
But so what happens is once they move to the Ozarks, everything just gets worse. It just makes it worse. More drug dealers, more drama.
Catch a break. Yeah, because everybody
more
else
laundering
into drugs
money.
Who knew was in the Ozarks?
Yeah, you didn't know that in the Ozarks there's like poppy fields everywhere to make the heroin. So it's like. Wait, so and then Jason Bateman always does himself. He plays himself.
Yeah.
He doesn't act.
I mean,
he's not an actor. He is Jason Bateman.
It's funny because he's Jason Bateman, but the roles that he takes, it's totally perfectly fine for him to be Jason Bateman.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's really weird that he's not like this theatrical actor, like a Joaquin Phoenix that morphs into the Joker or something. It's like, no,
he's Jason Bateman. But he's just like, okay, so what you're gonna do is you're going to take your pretty little self over there and you're just going to leave us alone so we can go ahead and launder this drug money. Okay, you got it good. And like that's just him. That's just how he is. Like every movie that I've seen him on, he's like that. Actually, I think I did see him on like one movie, some stupid movie where he had like claws for hands and was acting like a lobster.
Some movie like that. I don't know what.
I can't remember what it was. But then I'm also like,
it was him and Melissa McCarthy, wasn't it?
I think maybe so.
It might have been.
Oh yeah, Thunder Force. That's what it was.
Oh, Thunder Force. Yeah.
But I was just like, what is he doing? This is not for you, sir. Like he was just running sideways. Like, yeah, but Jason Bateman, please just be yourself. Be Jason Bateman.
And it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. But what happens is just more drama once they move to the Ozarks, and like there's more drug dealers out there. There's the girl Ruth who she's like, I guess you would call it like white trash-ish. And she just is super smart. She finds out what's going on, and now she wants in. So now he has a business partner.
Yeah, that he didn't want.
That he did not want.
Right.
That now, like it's just so much.
Yeah, it's a lot of layers. Because even you have Wendy, who knew nothing about what he and his business partner were doing. But then later on in the series, she's like a boss. She's like right there toe to toe with drug dealers and stuff. And you're like, what happened with
She's like, well, I guess we're gonna have to kill him. He's like, Wendy, come on, calm down. She's like looking at him like, so you want to do it or me?
Yeah,
he's like,
somebody has got to take.
Well, he's like looking at himself like, who is this woman?
Who are you? Right. Exactly.
You were not the person that I married.
No. But she was having an affair very early on the show, too.
She was having an affair in the first, 30 seconds of the show. I swear. He's sitting at his desk watching his wife. Like, he's sitting at his desk being a financial advisor and watching, I guess it was like a little, camera that was installed.
He must have had it in the house.
Yeah,
a camera of her having sex with a different person in the house. And then that person... They go
wrong place, wrong time. They go and try to run, and she goes and tells her little boo thing that, hey, this is what messed up, and blah blah blah, and he's like, look, as your lawyer, I'm gonna tell you, don't go get all the money that you can, because if the FBI gets into this and whatever, they're gonna lock up all your assets, and then right when she's going to do that, she comes into his apartment, and the Mexican drug lord's there. And then as Jason Bateman was going to go confront them, he's walking up and he's talking to himself. He's like, and then I'm going to tell her, blah, blah, blah. And then, and then he's like, and it's like splat. The drug lords have thrown him off of his penthouse balcony. Yep. And he lands in front of Jason Bateman. He just stops and he looks up and he goes, okay, I'm going back to my car.
I don't need to go in and confront anything.
Nope, not today. Not today. Yeah. So, but Satan. Yeah, it is really good. It's so much into it. The kids become more into it, and they become kind of little bosses. Jason Bateman becomes really soft and easy. Mm-hmm. Ruth becomes a boss. There's other things that's going on with different people that cause a lot of drama. People are getting killed. People are did somebody get? Yes, they tied somebody up, right? Didn't they kidnap somebody? I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. But it's good because it's always action. It's always something you're just suspenseful. Yeah, because you're thinking in your mind, what is this man going to do now?
Right, exactly.
And then his wife comes she comes I swear she's she's the housewife who smiles in your face while she's shooting you in the face with a shotgun. She's like that. She's check it out. Ozark. It is on Netflixies. Okay. Like I said, 44 episodes, 4 seasons, hour-long episodes. You will definitely get sucked in, and I haven't heard anybody say anything negative about Ozark.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's very, very binge worthy.
All right, sounds
good.
So
what is your last one?
My last one is Better Call Saul.
Hey, Saul, good man. What's up?
Saul, yeah. So, for Better Call Saul, it actually has been on AMC. However, if you missed it, you could watch it on Netflix. So the first few seasons are on Netflix.
Nice.
A lot of people know Better Call Saul is attached to Breaking Bad.
Yes.
And that was a ton of, that was an honorable mention to me because it's so many seasons of that as well, which are binge worthy. And I've talked about that show before. But in regards to Better Call Saul, I would say it's standalone. You do not need to know anything at all.
So you don't have to see Breaking Bad.
Because this is a prequel to Breaking Bad. So if you watch it first, then you go to look at Breaking Bad and you're going to be like, got it. This is a person who was on Better Call Saul and Saul knew about before even, anybody from Breaking Bad even knew these people existed. So the thing I'll say about Better Call Saul right now, it's on AMC. Well, it just ended its final season, 6 seasons on AMC. And so I'm watching it right now on Hulu, I believe. But basically it is a crime drama, I guess you would say, in regards to a lawyer. So the lawyer is Jimmy McGill. That's his name. Okay. So he's James McGill, goes by Jimmy, and he was a con artist. His brother, who was a lawyer, got him out of some jams, and basically kind of just said, look, I think you need to figure out what you want to do with your life. I'm a partner at a law firm. We can start you out in the mailroom, helping out with the mail. And then if you want to go to school and get your degree, we'll support you in that, through our, educational reimbursement program. And then once you get your degree, you can become a lawyer on our staff. Okay. So Jimmy, I guess I should say, Jimmy, at this stage in the show, for the most part, it's Jimmy McGill. James McGill goes by Jimmy. And so he actually is like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So he does that. He gets his law degree from some second-rate university or something like that. Like, it's not the best school for him to get his degree, but he got it. He passes the bar. And now he is that ambulance chaser type lawyer. So he is somebody who is like, I am trying to figure out any and every avenue in which I can go ahead and get these people to sign me up. So in one of the very first episodes, he's like, oh, I found out about in the newspaper that this guy was embezzled $1.6 million from the treasury of whatever county. And so he's trying to work with that man and his wife to get him to sign up to be their lawyer to try to get him off so that way he can get his money, because otherwise all he's doing is public defending cases, and that's it. I was about to say,
is he a good lawyer?
He is a
shisty lawyer.
He's a shisty lawyer. He is a lawyer who can sometimes figure out loopholes to get people out. But he also has unorthodox methods in regards to how he tries to do that. So one of the examples is these young guys are on video doing something that they really shouldn't have been doing. Like, it was really bad. And so based on that, he had this whole conversation. Hey, you too are young. As a jury member, that this, that, the second, all the things that you did. If there was video from things that you did, how would you be living right now? Would you be in prison right now? Like, do we want this to impact their lives? And so had you listened to that and not seen the video, you would almost give these young men a chance. Okay. But then you see the video and you're like, ain't no way. Nope, they should have never did that. So that's the kind of thing with Saul. Like, he can figure out a good way, a spin. He's a talker. He also had a scenario with a drug lord. Didn't know, but he comes up with these scams and schemes, and everything kind of goes awry with him. So what happened with Jimmy is he saw these skateboarders, and one of them rolled over the top of his car as he was driving by, and they were like, hey, look, you did this, and I got it on video, and well, he knew they were scamming him. He's a scammer himself, so he knew it. So he was like, how much can I give you guys? Like, what do you need? They were like, $500. He was like, are you ridiculous? I'm not giving you anything. Like, he just goes off on them, and it's like, I know you're not hurt. He kicks the guy in the leg that he says is hurting, and the guy jumps up and is like, what are you talking about? And he was like, look, I got a better scam for you. Let's do this instead. Well, his scam that he had for a particular lady, funny enough, the embezzler's wife, he wanted to scam her out of money, knowing that they had $1 million somewhere hidden. So let's scam her. In the process of him trying to scam the wife, what does he do? He ends up actually having these young guys, because cars look the same. So when they try to roll up on the car of the wife, they actually roll up on the car of Tuco, who is a drug dealer's grandmother, his abuela. And so she just takes off. She's probably, just like, I don't know what happened, what's going on. So the old lady just takes off, and the young guys both pop up like, wait a minute, she was supposed to get out of the car. She was supposed to be very apologetic. We were supposed to call Jimmy, and he was supposed to come and just happened to be close by. And that's not what happened. So then they start following the car, holding on to the back of a pickup truck on their skateboards, trying to figure out where this woman lives. Well, when she gets home and they see the car, they're trying to hobble up and act like they're hurt and all of that. And she was like, they're like, dinero, like, we need money. So they walk into the house. Who's in the house but Tuco, who is the drug dealer. And he's like, y'all are trying to scam my grandmother? Like, what is going on? Like, what's happening? Guns are out. Craziness ensues.
Snap.
Ends up being in a desert with Jimmy, because Jimmy comes, I'm an officer of the law. I see that my clients are inside your home. And Tuco opens the door with a gun in his face. And it's just like, we're going out to the wood, like to the desert. God, man. And you're just like, how is Jimmy going to survive this? You know he survives. He's in Breaking Bad. He makes it through this whole season. But how does he survive this with two people who basically he was trying to scam the grandmother? And what do they say when because they couldn't remember who it was they were trying to scam. They just knew they were scamming that particular car.
Yeah.
Well, lo and behold, you take the tape off their mouth. He did it. He told us.
Of course,
whatever, And then Tuco's like, "You're trying to scam my abuela? Who are you? Are you with the FBI? Are you with the CIA? Like, why are you following me? Like all that." So it's so, and this is like first 2 episodes. Like it's insanity. But everything that Jimmy tries to do goes awry. It just goes completely in a whole other direction. And then he has a conscience too, because, for example, his brother's law firm tries to give him like $26,000 for his brother when he knows his brother has a mental condition. I'll just put it at that, where he's a recluse now.
Okay.
But it's Hamilton, and what did I say? McGill. I was like, what's his last name again? McGill. And yeah, they're not giving him enough money. So he's like, no, you're giving me $26,000 for my brother's half of this business. It's probably more like $17 million that my brother should be getting. Wow. So he's just like trying to do the right thing, tearing up the checks. Like, no, this isn't right for my brother. I'm sure he wants to skim some off the top too. But anyway, and so he could have taken the $26,000 and looked at the short term, but he does look at long term options too. And so he's just trying to make his way. That's all you can say, is he's just a ambulance chasing lawyer who's not the greatest lawyer. Like, even those poor guys with their skateboard thing, they were like, "You're a horrible lawyer. Like, what kind of lawyer are you to talk people into scams and this and that?" And he was like, "I'm a great lawyer. I got you out of this situation. Like, you had a gun at your head from Tuco."
He was. I mean, he sets up for someone to get sued. So that makes him a good lawyer.
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. So long story short, Saul is Jimmy. So because you're like, better call Saul. Who's Saul? So Jimmy at some point ends up almost basically losing his license. So he goes under a different name. I think he had to pass the bar again under a different name or something to that effect. Mm-hmm. And now he's Saul Goodman. So that is who you meet in Breaking Bad. You have no idea who Jimmy is. You just know of Saul Goodman. Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing about this whole show is that when the very first scene opens, he's working at a Cinnabon. Yeah. And you're like, why is Saul working at a Cinnabon? Yeah. Well, come to find out, through the whole first season and let me go back. How Better Call Saul, the prequel, ends. Then him getting into Breaking Bad, and how that ends, he has to go into witness protection.
Oh, and that's where he has to get a job.
And that's where he has to get a job, basically in Nebraska at a Cinnabon. And so you're just like, I still haven't finished this last season to see how it all pulls together. Yeah. But all I can see in the commercials as it's leading to the last season is, wait a minute, you're that guy. You're that guy that was in those commercials screaming about, you got to call. He's like, you know what I'm talking about. Say it. Say it. You know who you are. Say it. So this guy, I don't know if he knows, like, and can rat him out to the drug lords that this is Saul that y'all are looking for, that's in witness protection or whatever. And then Saul just goes, better call Saul. Like, or whatever. And so you're just like, oh my God, like, what's going to happen? So anyway, so that's Better Call Saul.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's such a good show. It's like 93% on Rotten Tomatoes or something. It might even be higher than that. But it is so good. It's like one of the best shows on TV.
How did he get the name Saul?
Saul. So, I mean, I'll share it because it was seasons ago, and it is a little bit of a spoiler, but...
Oh, is it? If it's a spoiler,
I mean, I feel like it's a little bit of a spoiler because you never would have put together that he was doing it this way, but basically when he had to come up with a new name, he said he came up with Saul Goodman because he said, it's all good, man. Yeah. So it's Saul Goodman. Yeah. So that's how he came up with Saul Goodman.
That's kind of cool.
So it was, because I was like, oh my gosh. But he would do everything. He would buy, like, burner phones for people, and like when you have a situation come up, here's my card with my number being the phone number in your burner phone, so I know that you are a criminal, so here you go. Like he just worked with criminals. He got criminals to literally walk out of jail under other names.
He's a really good lawyer.
So that he was good and bad. Sometimes
I mean, like when I say like a good lawyer, like he knows his stuff. He knows he has the gift of gab and knows the law, so he can go ahead and get you out.
Knows the loopholes and knows like, oh, wait a minute, if I change his name to such and such, and they're thinking that this drug lord is in here, they'll let him walk right out the door. Okay, let's do that. Oh, and then I'll just get him to leave straight out the door, and then act like I didn't know what they were talking about. Those kind of things. So yeah, He's a horrible person, but he keeps moving on and keeps surviving.
Yeah,
so
he's a horrible person that makes a lot of money.
He drives the worst vehicles. Like somebody said, taupe. Seriously, like, you're driving a taupe Taurus. And
I feel like that is like the old lady car. Like
it was not the best.
Wait, is this like the old Taurus? Is this like the bubble looking one?
Yeah, it's the old one. Yeah. Because that's
I think automatically on Josephine.
Oh no, the very first car he drives is like a bright yellow with a red door. Esteem. Like something like a Mitsubishi Esteem
like a little,
or something, like a teeny little car.
Geo.
And it's funny because they show him leaving out the courtroom, walking towards a Cadillac, and then they pan over to the car. And they're like, yeah, right. And he has to keep click.
But it's so funny though.
So that's just how horrible. His office is in the back of a nail salon.
Okay.
He can barely open the door because the door hits the desk when he goes in. But he doesn't want clients to meet him there, so he's always meeting them at lunch somewhere.
So what's the point of having an office?
Well, because he wants to have a spot in a place. Oh, if you are of affluence, he doesn't want to meet you there. If you're just like a drug lord,
like if you're with the kids with the skateboard, come to this nail salon, go straight to the back, knock 3 times, I'll let you in.
They'll let me know that you're here. All right. So anyway, so that's Better Call Saul. All right, I could talk about it for hours. So, all right, what you got last?
All right, so I just want to, first of all, let me just throw out some honorable mentions.
Of course.
Some honorable mentions are Wentworth.
Oh my God, Wentworth is again another best TV show.
Absolutely, really good.
Better Call Saul, Wentworth, got it.
Grace and Frankie.
Oh, do you love Grace and Frankie?
Money Heist. Money Heist. See, I never watched Money Heist, but I hear so many people talking about it.
Money Heist is so good.
Really?
You'll like it.
Okay. Grey's Anatomy. Everybody loves Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, it's gone through so many iterations.
Law and Order.
Law and Order and the SVU.
Law and Orders.
Yeah,
is that better? All the laws, all the orders.
Criminal Intent.
Yeah.
SVU, the normal one.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, all of them.
All the ones with like letters behind it.
Mm-hmm.
You said Game of Thrones because that was one of my things on. And I would say the 911 shows, the original and the Lone Star.
Oh, okay.
I would say that those are good ones too. Did you have any more that would like honorable mentions?
I was going to say Orphan Black.
Oh, Orphan Black.
Because that's how we got our Sestra was Orphan Black.
Absolutely.
I was going to say Beep.
Okay, I never really got into Veep, but when I watched the episode, it was hilarious.
Yeah. The very first one is not funny. It kind of sets the groundwork to me, but going forward and just the politics of it all and the fact that you, like in real world, probably have to fake like you like people in order to get bills passed or to do whatever and to be who you can't be your authentic self in politics kind of thing. Yeah. And that part was pretty hilarious to me. So I really liked Veep. And then I was going to say The Good Wife and Good Fight. Okay. Both of those were really good. So those are kind of some of my top ones that I would recommend.
Yeah. You know what? I want to say Martin.
Yeah,
I would binge watch Martin over again. It's just hilarious. It's like
and there's so many phrases that came from that.
Like,
get to step.
Yeah, exactly.
And Brother Man from the 5th floor.
Yeah,
when he's holding up
with his 4 fingers. Yeah,
and Tommy ain't got no job. Like, it's so many phrases from that you could just say and people know automatically that you're talking about.
Exactly. All right, so my last one that I want to talk about is Shameless. Shameless. So it is 11 seasons.
I didn't even believe that.
You know what? It's such a train wreck of a show. Like, the show is really good, but what happens on the show is such a train wreck. But it keeps you enthralled. Like, you can't.
And the kids were so tiny and so young.
I know, and then you see them become adults.
Having your own kids and stuff. Yeah. So it does make sense it was 11
Exactly. So, it's 11 seasons, 134 episodes. They're hour episodes. And you can watch it on Showtime. Yeah. I wonder, I think they might have it on something else, too. It might be on Netflix.
Too. I don't know. I'll look while you're talking.
Yeah. But what I did not know, I didn't find this out until maybe 4 seasons in, was that it was actually based off of a British show.
Yeah, it is on Netflix.
It was based off of a British family.
Oh,
or Scottish or something like that. I don't know. But it could be Scottish or Irish. I don't know. It's based off of a family over in the UK.
Okay.
And I didn't know that was where it came from, and it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like The Office. It's starting in the UK.
Yeah, but see, that's what that's what we do. We steal.
It's back and forth.
Americans steal from other countries.
From us too.
Yeah.
It's a good show. We'll take that over here too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's on Showtime. It's a American white trash family. I would say that
they call themselves that. So.
Yeah, they're in Chicago, and they are horrible. And but you can't help but to love them, though.
And scammers too. So
yeah, but you can't help but to love them.
Yeah.
So
it's like they're just trying to get by.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
but that's all they know.
We're not given the best cards, and we're just trying to get by.
So they do very illegal things, and that's because that's all they know. They steal, rob, lie, cheat, and like that's what they know from all the people around them in their neighborhood. And then also from their parents. Yeah. So,
who one was a drug addict and one was an alcoholic.
Yeah. And well, I mean, one is a drug addict and alcoholic. Because,
I guess, but he does more alcohol.
He did, He was drunk the entire. Like, I don't think he was ever not drunk. Even when he couldn't drink, they were just like, they were like, "Sir, you can't drink anymore." Okay, put up my butt, dude. Calm down. You just chill. He was like, he's telling his son, "Hey, son, put this in my butt and squeeze it." It's like, and the kid is doing it for him.
So ridiculous. It's just the worst.
I know. But what they do is they do anything they can to get by, like to take care of each other. Like they care about no one else but each other. Yeah, right. Is it like they have like a couple of friends? Yeah. Actually, they have a couple that are their friends.
Yeah,
Kevin and V. Vanessa, yeah. So, but everyone else didn't even care. So the father, Frank Gallagher, he is a man who has, I don't know, he
just paused.
He is a man that how do I explain it? He does nothing and does everything all at the same time. Like, cause he never had. Did he ever have a job?
I don't think he ever had a job.
No, never had a job.
He did that one time when he was. Was that a job or what was that he?
That was a scam. It was a scam.
Okay, got it. Yeah,
I
think that everything was a scam for him.
Everything was a scam.
He could figure out.
Yep.
Yeah, it was never really a go-to work.
He had monstrosity of a life, like horrible. And he made it horrible for his kids, but his kids stuck together and took care of themselves and him.
Because it's not like he's going to pay the mortgage, so now they have to figure out how to pay the mortgage.
So he's 6 kids. Frank is played by William H. Macy, which I think that he does a great job because I had never seen William H. Macy play anybody other than like a guy in like a 3-piece suit or something like that. And then I see him in this. I'm just like, yo, bro, I didn't even recognize that was you.
He took it to a whole other level.
Yeah, it really looked like he didn't shower for months. Yeah. To do this role, like he did his research. Yeah. So he's Frank. So you have Emmy Rosin, who's Fiona. Okay. She was on the show. I think she left before the last
she did.
4 seasons or something like that.
3-4 seasons.
Yeah. Because of money issues, I think that's what it was. She wanted more money, and they were just like, bruh, you're not the lead person in the show. Exactly. You're all the lead people.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess because in the show, she is the older sister, mom of all of the kids.
Yeah. And she did have a lot of parts to play. Yeah. And probably did even have more lines than some other people.
Yeah, but that's because she was the oldest. So it's like
but
you follow around the oldest person because you're trying to figure out like how does she do this? Yeah. How does she make it? And then you have Jeremy Allen White, his name is Lip. Yep. Philip. He goes by Lip. Yep. And he's on a show now called Bear. He's a great actor as well. So then the other kids are Ethan Kutkowski, which is Carl. Carl is like a little demon. He is what is it, Dennis the Menace, but just like a Dennis the Menace / Damien.
He is just
He's like, this is a grenade?
like so excited.
Yeah, and like you'll see him and he's like thrown in a train or something. Yeah, but yeah, he does grow. He does grow. He does grow.
He grows.
And then you have Emma Kinney who plays Debbie. Debbie ends up growing up and becoming like the new Fiona. She's now the mother of the house once Fiona's gone.
And everything.
Yeah.
And her own kid and all of that.
You have Cameron Monaghan who is Ian.
Yep.
And Ian is the brother who is gay, sleeping with the guy that's like the biggest bully of everyone, like the biggest thug.
Yeah.
And he's sleeping with him.
Yeah.
Like it's just like it's so cute how that happens, how that goes on. It's like you hate that they're a couple because Ian is so nice and sweet. Yeah. And then Mickey will kill you in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Mickey will
you look at Mickey and he's just like, what'd you do? What'd you just say? And it's like, dude, I looked at you.
Exactly. Yeah,
and then you have what's his name? Christian Isaiah.
Okay.
Who is their black brother.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so that's Liam. Yeah. So I don't understand how this happened. Explain this to me. So
basically Monica had a child with a black man and Frank just took it on as his own and acted like it
okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out.
That's the way I understood it.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought too, because like didn't she go on the road with like a trucker or something like that?
I don't know.
That's how she skipped town. Yeah, she left. She split when like I think right after Liam was born, probably.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, I'm just like.
Yeah, but he's like not even remotely like
he does not look mixed at all.
He's not Frank's kid, but Frank, you cannot tell Frank that.
Oh, absolutely
Frank
not.
knows. I mean, he treats Liam better than he actually treats his own kids.
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's very weird. But then he'll
put Liam in a private school.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to sell my kidney so you can go to private school, son. You're going to do right by your father. It's like...
Oh, my God. This is his last chance.
But then what's so funny is that Frank is just like... Frank is literally showing his kids how to scam.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, Carl, hey, look, all right, there's a car coming, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to throw something out there. I'm going to get hit by the car trying to save my son's ball, push my son out of the way of going to get his ball, and then we're going to sue this lady, all right? Look, while I'm talking to her, get in the car, go through everything. Make sure you get, like, glove compartment, like, sides of the door jams, like everything. And he's telling his kids how to become thieves.
Yep. Pretty much.
And it's just so good. So, I would say check it out. It's a family that is... Like I said, they're horrible and great at the same time.
Yeah.
Because like
it's like they're horrible, but you root for them.
Yeah, because it's like that family dynamic that they have.
Yeah.
It's like the greatest thing. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
But then it's also just like, but you're horrible people, man.
Yeah.
Like
you're not. They're not really.
Like Frank.
Really nice one in the
Frank
bunch,
was like,
even though Ian is nice, that one of the nicer ones, he's still not great.
Oh no, absolutely not. No, he's not great. But they all scam. They all steal, rob, cheat. Mm-hmm. They lie.
They can't be trusted.
Yeah. But if something goes down, you call a Gallagher.
Yeah.
And they'll get it done. Yeah. So and that's what they're always saying. And my Gallagher name is gone for however many years. And
But it's a really good. It's an uncomfortable show to watch sometimes because of the things that they do and the situations they put themselves in and how they treat other people. And you're like, no, you should not be treated.
Yeah, he was sleeping with the old lady and then was trying to like get her like insurance, like her will stuff and
and get her disability checks and all that kind of stuff.
And then he was sleeping with
Fiona.
I would tell you one thing.
To get things from him because he was driving the BMW.
Yeah, exactly.
Bought the washer dryer and stuff. But she was like, he was gone in a half a second. So it was like, really? Did you?
But I would tell you this also. Like Frank had a lot of ladies.
Yeah. It was not hard for Frank to get a lady, which I don't see how, because like you said, he looks like he never showered.
Exactly.
So I don't know what that's about.
I don't know, but the ladies love Frankie. That's all that I know.
Yeah.
But
go figure.
But so
all right. Well, that is another episode of Sestra-Tainment. Thanks for joining us for the binge worthy episodes that you can watch, and hopefully everybody has a wonderful rest of your week. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.